Hi everyone, welcome back to Gray is Gorgeous. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today we're going to talk about cutting your hair shorter and will it give you more volume? Let's get started. Increasing volume is something that a lot of women would like. Now, some of you out there, my gorgeous silver sisters, have beautiful, thick, full, not fine hair, and for you this may not apply, but this applies to someone who has thinning hair, which is often a problem. It could be due to hormones, it could be due to stress, it could be due to diet. There are many things that cause hair loss, and as we get older our hair automatically gets thinner. So even if we had a head of very thick full hair when we were younger, we may not have as much when we get older. And if we've already started out with thin hair, then we're even going to have more thinning as we get older. So you may have been told that if you go shorter with your hair, that your hair will look fuller and thicker. Going shorter may or may not be the fix for you, particularly if you have really, really fine hair and it's not dense, meaning you don't have a lot of follicles close together. You don't have that density, because you can have a lot of fine hair and have a lot of density of it. Okay, and this leads to your hair becoming oily more often because you have more follicles producing oil. So if your hair gets oily quite rapidly, that could be, I'm not saying conclusively, that could be because you have a lot of hair follicles and each one's producing oil. So that causes that situation, and that could tell you whether you have a lot of follicles or not, meaning dense hair, how close the hair is growing together. So aside from that, if you have fine or thin hair like mine and you decide to go short because your hairdresser says, look, you're going to maximize your volume of what you have by going shorter, that may not be true in all cases. And here are some of the cases why that would not apply. Your hair is so fine and you're also suffering from hair loss. And when you have super fine hair and you go super short, and I mean super short, I'm talking about pixie cuts and stuff like that, the scalp is going to show through. You're going to see your scalp more attention will go on it. And that may not be the answer. Now, I'm not saying grow your hair longer and have long, really thin, fine hair, but sometimes keeping your hair longer, like mid-chin to shoulder length, and then pulling it back and tying it up may help actually conceal, because you're pulling your hair over those areas, like in front if you have extreme thinning here, and let's say you have no bangs, you're pulling that hair over that thinning area and it kind of conceals it. You see what I mean? So if you have really fine thin hair and you feel like you're losing your hair and you go super short, you're just going to have a short cut where your scalp is going to show. And as we go gray, that is going to pose a bigger problem. And here's why: because your hair gets more white in it, because you're not actually going gray as in the color gray. Your hair has more white coming in, and that white mixing with your own color is giving an appearance of gray hair, you see. And so the white kind of fades away. It kind of is not dominant. And so you see more of your scalp. Like I've noticed seeing more of my pinkish scalp as I go lighter and as my hair, you know, starts, the gray line starts to go back further and further, I'm noticing more and more of my scalp. So if I cut my hair super duper short, that may show more. So, but however, coloring it would not be the answer, because if you color already fine, thin hair in areas where you have hair loss, and then you color that, cut it short on top of it, now it's just too much, because you've got these dark contrasting hairs against your white skin or your pink skin, depending on your skin tone, and that may even look worse. So going really short doesn't necessarily fix the problem. Now, having a bob does. Having a bob does help. You can have it my length, you can have it here, 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 or here, a lob, which is longer bob. And having it all one length can help. So what I would do is I would get a consult about, look, my hair is thinning, right, with your hairdresser, and it's thinning here, and I kind of want to conceal that a little bit. What do you recommend? And they can steer you in the right direction. But if they automatically say, if we go shorter, it's going to feel thicker. In some cases, yes. In most cases, I would say yes, that would happen. Like if I went in and I had my long hair here and I went up to this bob, yes, it does appear. This is super thin hair, by the way. I mean, I can barely feel my hair. It's just so thin. It does. It looks fuller. It does look fuller. But now if I went in and I did massive layers here up in this section here, it would really start to thin out. And, you know, and then you have situations where you go to your hairdresser, and I know some of you ladies have experienced it, as I have many times, where they whip out their thinning shears on already thin hair, and you're like, no, and you know, it doesn't work, and you're going to end up with these like little sprigs of hair, and it's gonna be, you're not going to like it. So I like to keep it full. Stacking in the back can make your hair look fuller, but it can also make your hair look thinner. And I actually prefer to have my hair all one length. And when I go back on videos and photographs of myself without this stacked version, it does look much thicker. So that's why I did this video, because I thought I don't want anyone to have the mistaken idea that going shorter will automatically make their hair look thicker. It depends. It depends on your hair. It depends on how much white hair you have. If you have a lot of white hair and you have thinning, fine hair, or you even may have some even hair loss up front, that may not be a good idea. I would go for a longer cut, not a super short like a pixie. Something like this or longer would be better. And one length does conceal a lot of things, and it's easier to take care of. It's less styling in the morning because you don't have little tweaker hairs happening, and it can give you that boom volume. Instantly having a blunt cut will give you that volume. So in that case, it will make your hair appear more thicker. So if you take it from here to here and you give it a nice blunt cut, no layers, you know, it's going to be full and look full and nice. So if you're considering a new hairstyle, the most important thing is to consider your hair texture and how much hair you actually have, rather than looking at the photograph of the person who may have different hair than you, or even looking at their facial features, which is important, by the way. But think about, what density hair do I have? Do I have thin hair? Do I have medium hair? Do I have thick hair? Is it curly? Is it wavy? If it's semi-wavy at this length, if you take it up to this length, it could be Rosanna Banana really quick. Like it could, your curls will automatically, without the weight in your hair, the length of your hair, that if you take off of that weight and suddenly go short, your hair could really get super curly, and you may not like that. So those of you out there, my sisters who have wavy hair, be warned that if you go shorter on the wavy hair, it may get, you may end up with a tighter curl. And when you have curly hair, you have to product it up. You have to control that curl. You have to crunch it. You have to make it behave. So important. But that is a really beautiful look. So just be forewarned on that. You go in and you say, I want to chop it off. I want a lob, or give me haircut, you know, or something like that. And you go for something like what I have, and you have longer hair here, but it's slightly wavy. Maybe when it comes up here, it's going to want to really get curly on you, and it's going to frustrate you. So unless you're prepared for using a flat iron of some kind, I recommend the Conair Pro here, because it has a maximum heat temperature. Right, shorter hair is going to require a little bit more work. So I hope that helps a little bit, that cutting your hair shorter doesn't always mean it's going to feel thicker or fuller. It really depends on what you're starting with. If you're starting with something like what I have, and you have hair down to here and you cut it up to mid neck, or you cut it up to the chin where I'm at, you know, yes, it may make you feel like it's fuller, as long as you don't overlayer it. So much on this subject, I could probably talk for an hour and bore you to death about it. There is so many variations, so please don't take anything I say as like an exacting science. It just has to be evaluated by a professional, you know, and I am not a professional, and nor am I a professional hairdresser. So consult with your hairdresser. Tell them, look, my hair looks finer. What cut's going to make it look fuller? And they can definitely steer you in the right direction. And find someone who's willing to really talk with you, even if it took a half an hour to figure out which cut you're going to get. Someone who's not just, yeah, I know what you want. Yeah, okay, we'll just do this. I know what'll, you know. No, you want someone who's going to communicate with you very well. Listen to your concerns. Touch your hair. Feel the density. See how it reacts even when I do that, right? How curly is this lady's hair? Is it going to hold a wave? Let's see. See? You know? What's the density? Let them feel your hair. Let them, you know, let them mold it like this. Take it out of the clip. What does it do? Does it fall to the right, fall to the left? Does she look good with a side part, a middle part? How is this? How am I going to make this woman gorgeous? How is this going to work for her, right? What could she do to get some lift in here? Could we cut it up here? Could we give her bangs, or could we give her no bangs? Could we, you know, do something like that? Is that going to work better for her? All of that. They should be feeling, touching, looking, and talking to you at the same time. You know, what can I do with this? What's realistic, rather than just a photo? This is what I would like to have. And that is very helpful. What's her face structure? How big are her eyes? How big is her nose? Does she have bone structure? Is she self-conscious about her neck? You know, all of that matters. And even if you're a man, that matters too. You know, does he wear a beard? Does he not wear a beard? Is it too much hair on top? Is it too much on the sides? Does he have big ears? Right? All of that stuff. Everything needs to be factored into a haircut to get the cut that's going to look the best on you and for you, and work with your lifestyle, because that would be the other part of the question that hairdressers fail to ask is, what is your lifestyle? Do you go out jogging? Do you go work? How much time do you spend doing your hair? If your hairdresser does not ask you these questions, every question they fail to ask you, everything they fail to notice about you, will work against you. So even if you have to point it out to them, look, my hair, see that? It is super fine. So let's not take some thinning shears to that, you know. Look, I don't have a super great structure here, and I'm a little self-conscious with my hair short. So I really don't want to go that short, you know, and really communicate that. Communicate the things that you notice, and maybe this video will help you with that. Like, oh, like, see, for me, feel like I have a big nose. You know, I don't want to accentuate this nose. I would tell my hairdresser, please, I don't want to accentuate this nose. A haircut that does not accentuate this nose, you know, or a haircut that accentuates my eyes. I do like my eye color. I like my eyes. They're a little bit too close together. I mentioned that in the other video. They're a little bit beady in my opinion. And that's not a statement to put myself down. It's just what is. I look at myself and I go, look, I got a lot of wrinkles here. I really don't want to highlight that, you know. You know, I feel okay about my neck, you know. And so even if you have to tell your hairdresser, look, and point to it, this is a problem, this is not a problem, this is a problem, thinning's a problem, curly is a problem, you know, whatever it is. Get yourself a little list together. In fact, I can put one, I'll put one down in the description box. I will put a list of things that you can ask, you can talk to your hairdresser about, that will help them help you to give you the best cut. And that way you're in full 100% in charge of it, because not all hairdressers pay attention to these things. They should, but not all of them do. Now, there are a lot, please don't get me wrong. So if you're a hairdresser out there, don't slaughter me in the comments right now. I know there are a lot of you out there that do, and who care, and who really put the time in. But sometimes if you zip into a supercuts, you're not going to get that treatment, you know. And as we get older, we want the treatment, right, ladies? We want the treatment. We want somebody who's going to listen to us, who's going to give us a great cut, so we walk out and feel like $1,000,000. So I hope I haven't rambled on too long. Thank you so much for watching. Now I'll end the video. Click subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos. Click like if you like the content, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, ladies.